Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Of course, this Saturday night is a very special night. It is the season opener for the Vancouver Canucks, and it's going to be a big game for our next guest.
Well, absolutely, and this almost sounds like, well, like you're making up the story. He was born in Milwaukee, raised in California, played football at Utah State, came here to play for the BC Lions, and somehow went on to become one of the most celebrated game analysts in the game of hockey, and certainly in Vancouver Canucks history. Mr. Tom Larscheid joins us. How are you, Tom?
Hello.
Well, I'm fine. It's really great to be on with you two, Fiona and Michael.
I mean that for 14 years you've been avoiding us. How are things?
Things are terrific.
Yeah.
You know, it's starting to hit me that tomorrow night will be my final broadcast on Canucks
Did you have
hockey.
any idea? I mean, when this sort of first came out in the press, obviously there's a variety of opinions, what happened, and people were talking about it a lot. But did you have any idea, sort of the feeling in the city about your broadcasting career before this?
You know, honestly, I didn't. I mean, this has been incredible. You know, the love and the friendship that I'm feeling right now, not only from my colleagues that I've worked with all these years, but certainly the listeners, they have made me feel so good. You know, no one really knows what other people think about you or your work.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, it's such a heartwarming feeling for me, you guys, to know that all these years, people got a kick out of this.
People were listening. Go back and go long ago.
I mean, well, you know, I just enjoyed every game I've ever
Really,
done,
I don't
you
get
guys.
that from you.
But
No enthusiasm at all.
Don't you
Come
think
on.
that was the key to
wait
your
a minute.
success? I mean, if you could put your finger on anything, for me, as a young man growing up listening to you, you were like me watching the game, and I think that's what I felt. You had that genuine enthusiasm that I had as a fan, as someone who loved the game.
Well, you know, for a guy who never played hockey and really wasn't brought up on hockey, as you said
This
in
is
your
weird,
opening,
by the way,
it's
Tommy.
weird, but you know, the minute I came to Canada to play with the BC Lions, and I had the opportunity to watch hockey, and the Western Hockey League, Phil Maloney and Buddy Boone and Billy McNeil, Bob McCusker, all these guys, you know, I just loved the game. It had everything. And I've said now over the years, the greatest spectator sport in the world is hockey. And they say, well, what about football? I said, well, what about football? And what about basketball? What about baseball?
Stop and go.
But let me tell you, think
Yeah.
about this. A game that is played with that kind of speed, on skates, with sticks, with a puck, with the highly skilled players that have to be proficient in what they do, and combine that with physicality, separate the men from the boys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is the best. It really is.
And what is it about our Vancouver Canucks? Because you are the biggest fan of the Canucks, but you love them so much, and you've taken some flack as a broadcaster for being such a huge fan, but that's what we all love about you. What is it about the Canucks that gets your heart?
Fiona, it's our team. This is our city. I mean, I love our teams. I want our teams to win championships every year. I wanted these Canucks to win a Stanley Cup.
You know what I love? That moment of wistfulness. They just sort of...
Well, that's what people have always said sometimes when they try to describe me as a broadcaster in radio.
Yeah.
If you're a listener, a person said to me, he said, you know, Larscheid, I can always tell when you're happy because I can see that smile. I can feel it
you can hear
through the radio.
laugh.
But I also know when you're not happy, you know, and the forehead is wrinkled and you're hot about something. Well, it's just the way I express myself.
What do you look like after the game? I mean, I always imagine, right?
Win or loss, win or loss.
It's different when you're part of the broadcast or something, but when you were on the radio and I would listen, I would imagine you not sitting at all during the game.
Good point.
Do you stand?
A lot.
Yeah.
I do. It comes and goes, but boy, when I'm really into it and it's 2 minutes to go and the Canucks need a goal to score to tie it, or they need to protect a one-goal lead.
Up you get.
Yeah.
It just, boom, up I go. It's just a natural reaction of mine.
And what are your emotions going into tomorrow night for the big broadcast?
Fiona, that's a good question. It's really started to hit me this morning. I've had a couple of months to get ready for this, and I haven't prepared anything. I mean, that's just me. It just comes, and I probably that's the best way. It's starting to hit me now a little bit that this is going to be my final broadcast.
Yeah.
But you know what? I have so much to be thankful for, you guys. And those are the kind of things that I'm thinking about right now, the great memories, the wonderful people I've met in this game.
Well, this is huge. I mean, in our industry and the friendship we have and the friendship that you have with the people that you've worked with over the years, you guys are on the road together. You know, I mean, you guys have to live together. You have to do all these things. It's a very different job.
Well, that's a good point, Michael, because next to your wife and your children, of course, if you have family, you spend more time with your play-by-play broadcaster than almost you do with your family.
Yeah.
Because hockey is a long season. It's 8 months. It's a lot of travel, a lot of time away from home. So you better have that togetherness, boy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it can be difficult. But you know what? If I could just interject for a minute, Fiona, about Shorty. I want to say this. I've worked
He's
with
a jerk, isn't he?
No. I love John Shorthouse, and I'm going to tell you why. I've worked with the best play-by-play broadcasters in the business. Jim Robson, a Hall of Famer. He set the bar for everybody. A wonderful guy. Jim Houston, now the #1 guy on Hockey Night in Canada. And John Shorthouse, who the last, I guess it's close to 12 years now that we've worked together.
Wow.
You know what? We had instant chemistry the day he came in the booth. And you guys know what chemistry is all about. Look at how successful you've been for 10 years. No, you can't buy that. It's there. And Shorty has been more fun for me in these last few years of my career than I could have ever imagined. He is such a pro. He is sharp. He's on top of it. He's fun. He's giving. He's kind.
And he sings.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, he's got a beautiful voice.
He does, and that's what I was going to say about the Michael
I sing too, but not quite as well, you know, but I like to sing.
I've heard you sing a few things.
I know.
How was the Michael Bublé concert? Because Shorthouse and Michael Bublé surprised you a little bit with a serenade. You didn't know that was going to happen. What was it like for you?
I had no idea it was going to happen. Bruce Allen had called me a couple weeks prior to the concert to say that Michael and him would like Leslie and I to be their guest at Michael's concert at the Rogers Arena. And I said, oh, fantastic. And I love Michael Bublé. And you guys know he filled in for me when I was on vacation and did a great job. And he's a wonderful hockey fan to boot. And boy, what a big-time talent he is.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
But anyway, to get to the point, the only thing he just said, well, Michael would like to recognize you. And what went through my mind was, well, he might just say, you know, I've been put out the pasture.
You almost said the R word.
Yeah, they finally got him on Larscheid.
They finally got him. But anyway, you know, that was it. I had no idea about the singing together and then putting up a little montage of my career very quickly. And the reaction of the people at the concert that night was just overwhelming for me.
It's a weird business because you're up there in a booth, and obviously the fans are around there. They're focused on the game, but you know, it is sort of, it's isolated from the people that you're talking to sometimes. You know, it's you, Shorty, the crew, or you and Jim, or the Jims and the crew.
Sure.
And so, you know, the only way to get a sense of how you're impacting people is when you walk around the city or you're in a concert like Bublé's thing.
Yeah, oh, there's no doubt. It's, you know, we all get some kind of reaction because we're in the business of pushing buttons and so on, and I pushed a lot of them, you know, over the years, and had all kinds of different reactions. You know, I've always laughed when someone comes up to me and they didn't particularly like my work. And you know, we can't be everything to everybody in this business, as you know, but I certainly tried, and I wanted people to enjoy our broadcast and enjoy my work, but I know that isn't,
sometimes you're not going to hit it.
It's not realistic. It really isn't. But I always say, hey, listen, why beat yourself up, guy? Turn on TV and turn me off.